Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Racing Show here at RacePlazaMedia, and today is Digital Wednesday. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everyone. As I said, today is Digital Wednesday, so that means going forward, every Wednesday we'll be reviewing some digital racing. This week, like the title of this episode, we'll be taking a look at my very first iRacing experience, and spoiler alert, it did not go so good. I will be playing some clips of me racing while I'm talking. First of all, I struggled with the setup. For whatever reason, when the first setup I did is when I turned left, the car went right. So that already went horribly wrong. But once everything was set up, it still went really bad. So I have some excuses lined up on why it didn't go so good. Number one, I haven't raced in a while because I was nursing an injury on my knee, so that was preventing me from racing. Keep that in mind. Number two, I have actually never raced in an actual sim racing game. I've only raced some simcade games such as like GT7, F1, Forza Horizon, so I've never had really any experience with proper racing. Number three, this is not really an excuse, I just wanted to tell you guys the setup that I'm using. So I'm using a Logitech GT29 with the H shifter. And then my fourth excuse is just I'm really bad. That's really all it is. I need to get good, as they say. That being said, so let's get into it. So I didn't actually do any proper racing. I just did some test driving and some ghost racing. Ghost racing is when some people are actually racing and you're joining the race, but as a ghost, so kind of see how you're doing against everyone else. Unfortunately, I forgot to press the record button, so we don't have any footage of that, but let me assure you that it did go bad as well. I was surprised. It went really bad. It actually went really well for a hot second, and then what I usually do is I get super confident and then I mess it up. So I ended up driving into the river, into a tree, into everything. But that's fine. So the cars that I was using today in my practice was a MX-5 and an open wheel car. I don't remember the name of it. The MX-5, I was surprised how difficult it was to keep it on track. I guess I was just expecting more grip. Maybe I should have used different tires, but I just used the regular setup that they give you. And I think I have this comparison in mind how I remember the car feeling in GT7, so it does feel quite different. And so as I said, it does feel quite different, but I will say it does feel a lot more like a real car. It does, especially when I was racing, it did feel like the setup that I have, I was getting a lot of feedback from the car, even though I didn't know what to do with that feedback sometimes. But it did feel really good racing. So the car felt really good. I felt like I could really feel the track and the car on it. Even though, I don't have the most fancy setup, with the setup that I have, it did feel really good. And in my hubris, I will say I thought I would be able to rise through the rookie ranks quite fast because I have a lot of experience in other games, but no. I think it will take me a minute. And I will say one of the reasons why I didn't do a proper race today already is because reading about iRacing, one of the big things that people always talk about is the safety rating. And I'm really worried about just messing that up because I think going off track and hitting other people and stuff like that really brings it down. And I don't want to, start off my iRacing career and then just immediately tank everything. So I wanted to get some practice in there, and I will continue practicing. And I hope next week when we come back to the digital episode, I hope I have a race to show you guys, but I'm not gonna make any promises because while I don't of course I want to come first, but I just want to have a good safe race and a good race, and if that means I have to go slow, then that'll be it. But I want to also feel like I'm ready for it, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm just making another excuse, but that's just how I want to approach this whole thing. If you guys have any tips or tricks, you know, drop them in the comment section below. But for now, I'm just gonna, you know, take it one step at a time and really ease my way into it, because it is a little bit or quite a lot more difficult than I expected it to be. However, the open wheel car did feel a lot more approachable and a lot easier, because it has a lot more grip. So it's much easier to like throw it around the corners. I mean, of course I spun out, you know, that's no secret, but it did feel like a little bit easier to, you know, manage. I will also say one of my big worries about going forward is that I'm hoping they have some shorter races, because my big thing is, whether that's on iRacing or any other thing, usually after like lap 5 or 6 or whatever, that's when my concentration, you know, just tanks, if I even make it that far. So I'm a little worried about that, but I think that just comes with the territory. I have to learn how to you know, stay focused and like build up my endurance for that. I think the longest races I've done on GT7 are those 30-minute ones where you can kind of like grind to get more credits. But I mean, I guess this is just all a learning curve, and maybe by the end of the year, you know, we'll be looking back and laughing and see how well I'm doing now on then, hopefully. I don't know. In short, it didn't go so well this this very first test drive, but it did catch my fever for racing again. I was a little worried that iRacing might be a little bit too difficult for me, or that I wouldn't enjoy it because it's not as approachable as other racing series or some racing games, but it is a lot of fun, even though I didn't do well. So it did caught my fever to do better and to continue, you know, my racing journey on there, which is good because I already spent the money on it for the whole year. However, I do want to point out, this Wednesdays is not always going to be watching me racing and me failing, and hopefully not failing as much in the future. We also will be looking at some e-racing, professional e-racers, some racing leagues, but this week I just don't have anything. And then we'll also be, we're not only going to do iRacing here, we'll do some GT7, we'll do some F1, we'll cover everything a little bit, you know, no worries. However, thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, I really appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Stop doing the peace. No one likes that. I cut it out every video.